This is CBC Here and Now.
Tonight, another spike in the number of COVID-19 cases. Welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes.
And I'm Anthony Germain. Is the province running out of enough money to keep things going? And when it comes to your groceries and rationing them, who should decide? The government or the grocery stores?
Let's get to our top story. Well, as the province struggles with the COVID-19 health crisis, its finances are in desperate need of life support. Let's bring in the CBC's David Cochrane in Ottawa. David, you uncovered news of a letter Premier Dwight Ball sent to the Prime Minister pleading for help. Just how bad did things get in mid-March?
Yeah, Carolyn, things got pretty bad. Essentially, the Newfoundland and Labrador government went to the bond market looking to borrow, and they found out that nobody wanted to buy Newfoundland and Labrador government bonds. That means they couldn't get any money, and they had to rely on their cash reserves. And what I'm told is they were going to burn through that pretty quickly and essentially be out of money by the middle of April. So that means no money to pay the public service, no money to pay healthcare workers in the middle of a pandemic. So the need for this urgent letter on the 20th of March from Premier Dwight Ball to the Prime Minister, letting the federal government know that their borrowing plan had failed and they were, in the words of the Premier, out of time. So this was an urgent plea for help. And luckily for Newfoundland and Labrador, the Bank of Canada came to its rescue several days later by announcing that it would buy provincial bonds. And that is giving Newfoundland and Labrador the money it needs to operate. But Carolyn, that is just a temporary fix. This is a bigger and longer term conversation that the province is going to have once this health situation is over.
Yeah, and the province's finances have been in terrible shape for a really long time. What caused the situation to get even worse?
Well, you had to start with that. I mean, they were weak going into this, which was a problem. But then COVID-19 essentially put the global economy into a coma. Nobody is working, nobody is making any money or paying taxes, and no revenue going in. And then they're caught in the crossfire of this price war over oil between Saudi Arabia and Russia, where now the barrel is worth more than the oil, and that is flattening the government's revenue stream. And there's really no floor because Newfoundland and Labrador doesn't get equalization, so there's no cushion for them. Their entire balance sheet is exposed, so it just races straight to the bottom. So when, as the COVID-19 virus was spreading around the world, the contagion was spreading through the economy, oil projects deferred, commodities slumping, fish prices have collapsed, the tourism season with cruise ships and conventions, all of that is in peril. Things like Come By Chance are closing down. That's 5% of the province's GDP. So you have a jobs crisis and a cash crisis that's really beyond the scope of any premier, Dwight Ball or anybody to deal with. And the scariest part of it, Carolyn, is we don't know what the recovery is going to look like. We don't know when it's going to happen, and we don't know how quickly things are going to rebound.
Incredible situation. Thanks so much for this, David.
You're welcome.
That's the CBC's David Cochrane in Ottawa. Well, the Premier says the province now has enough cash to keep going, but he's warning that once the province gets through this health crisis, it will still be facing a long-term economic one.
We are indeed in a position to make payroll and will continue to provide the services. We've had some success this week in the markets, of course supported with the Bank of Canada by the changes that they had made to help provinces like Newfoundland and Labrador with their borrowing requirements. So essentially we can make payroll, we'll continue to provide the services.
As David mentioned a few moments ago, tourism is expected to take a big hit, and the mayor of Bonavista is predicting massive layoffs coming down the road. Here Now's Garrett Barry has more.
The first icebergs are floating by, usually a sign of tourism riches to come. But closed. All of a sudden, it's not looking so good.
We're definitely not going to be able to start out today like we anticipated.
There are fears now that COVID-19 could shut down the whole tourism season.
And this is the time when we start getting a lot of our bookings come in. So as of 2 weeks ago, we had no bookings whatsoever.
Running her business from home, she's already preparing to scale back.
We kind of want to have like a cafe/inn downstairs. So that's kind of put on hold as of right now.
But some businesses could be headed for disaster, even if there is federal support.
It is going to take some time, and I'm quite sure, unfortunately, there are businesses that just don't have that time, and they won't survive the wait period.
For Bonavista, it's almost like a double whammy. Not only is the tourism season practically paused, but there are major slowdowns in the fishery too. And the mayor says that's going to cause big pain.
We're not talking about 5-10% increase in unemployment. I mean, we're talking about doubling and tripling unemployment. I think over the next so many weeks and months.
Roughly 360 people worked in this crab plant last year. This year, the crab season is expected to be delayed, so workers don't know when they'll be getting hours and getting paid.
This is the time of year when those industries have the fewest dollars. There's no cash in the bank.
The mayor says the town is going to do its part with taxes and fees, but he's calling for massive federal spending. Projects in many communities. He says it needs to rival the response to the cod moratorium. Garrett Berry, CBC News, Bonavista.
Well, the public health emergency in this province has been extended. Today, the health minister renewed it for 14 days, but says it may continue well past Canada Day. And there are new cases of COVID-19 in Newfoundland and Labrador. Today, the province announced 23 new cases. In total, 175 have been diagnosed with the disease, and 15 people have been admitted to hospital. 3 of those are in intensive care. Now, healthcare workers are critical right now, and the province is now backing off plans to force early childhood educators to provide care for the children of essential workers. Here Now's Peter Cowan is live with us in the newsroom again tonight. So, Peter, what's the plan?
Carolyn, originally what they wanted to do was say these idled childcare centers, they should take the kids from healthcare workers. But the concern from early childhood educators was they didn't feel it was safe. So now what the province is saying is instead they're encouraging workers, if they have somewhere to put their kids, they'll pay those childcare workers $200 per child per week. But that's not going to take care of everyone. In fact, in total, there have been about 800 applications for essential workers who need childcare in order to be able to keep going to their jobs. But what they're now going to be doing is looking for schools to actually play a role.
The department is now working with the English School District and the NLTA to utilize schools and substitute teachers who may wish to participate. All of this, of course, is to ensure that we have childcare centers and family care homes that will not be overburdened. So we're exercising all the options that we have available to us.
Now, the Premier says he is still expecting some early childhood educators will have to step up. He says it's important for everyone to do what they can in order to support healthcare workers at a time where we need all of them to be able to still go to work. Carolyn?
Thanks so much, Peter. That's Here Now's Peter Cowan reporting. We've all been told one of the only reasons we should leave our homes during the pandemic is to get food. Early on, the shelves at grocery stores were bare and rationing started, but the government says there's no need for that.
There was really no need to be restricting milk products, within the grocery stores. The majority of products that they use on a daily basis will be available for shoppers. Right now, what we want to be able to do is reduce the number of trips to our grocery stores. So if we put restrictions on those items that we have in supply management, well, that is counterproductive to what we're trying to do.
So who is in the best position to decide what groceries should be available to people, the government or the grocery stores? Anthony joins me from his home to talk about food availability in the province. Anthony.
Well, you heard Premier Ball there reiterating a point that he made yesterday, Carolyn, that really the stores don't need to be putting up flyers saying just take 2 of these or 3 of those and ration stuff. His agriculture minister, Jerry Byrne, took to Twitter. If you take a look at what Mr. Byrne had to say, he said farmers here in the province, they produce 10 million dozen eggs, 50 million liters of milk, 45 million pounds of chicken. No problem, and said that stores should actually stop making these kinds of rationing decisions. But if you think about it, though, Carolyn, it was only about a week and a half ago, 10 days, that we saw lots of images, no chicken, no beef. There was scarcity, and in those times, most of the grocery stores were rationing because the stuff was disappearing off the shelves. Now we're in a position where the Premier and his frontline minister, agriculture minister, almost criticizing grocery stores for those rationing measures. Byrne, of course, as I mentioned, pointing out we've got lots of this and lots of that. But there are critics who say the grocery stores actually know better than the government. Jim Cormier is the Atlantic Director of the Retail Council of Canada.
Well, I guess I'd put it this way. Grocery stores are in the business of dealing with their business. They make business decisions every day. And in the case of COVID-19, they're making not only business decisions, but social decisions. They are supply chain and store management experts. I don't believe the minister is. And therefore, in this case, we'd ask that businesses be allowed to operate in the manner that they see as being best to be able to continue to serve the good people of Newfoundland and Labrador.
So what we have here, Carolyn, is really a pandemic policy clash, that between the government saying, look, we want people to be able to buy stuff for their neighbors. You can't do that if the grocery stores are saying you can only have 2 of this or 2 of that. And you've got the grocery stores saying, look, we know our customers, we know our communities. And remember, we're not just talking about St. John's here. Lots of smaller places across the province where getting supplies and delivery is not the same thing as the major centers. And the point of view of the grocery stores is, we want to try to be as fair as possible. So it's fairness versus safety, an interesting clash in a pandemic and a fight about groceries.
It's a tricky one. Thanks so much, Anthony. Well, this is a parade in St. John's to thank the frontline healthcare workers facing the COVID-19 crisis head-on. A number of emergency vehicles drove through various parts of the city today to honor those workers. And in Gander, a similar show of support for frontline workers. This parade traveled through the town yesterday, making some noise for all of the essential workers on the job during the COVID-19 crisis.
Thank you.
Well, it's certainly spring on the island, but up through Labrador, that's a different story. We do have some warnings in place. We'll have all the details in your full forecast coming up.
provincial government has ordered the closure of all campsites in the province, a move that has upset some owners of privately owned parks. People can park their trailers and RVs at Backside Pond Park in White Way year-round. The park's operator, Ed Singer, says all the lots are rented for this year. He says barring them from their trailers is the same as telling people they're not allowed to go to their cabins.
They're not really campgrounds. Those trailers are there year-round, and they're cabins. They're no different than cabins. Is the government going to shut down all the cabins?
And the chief medical officer says gathering people together in a campground risks spreading the virus and makes it much harder for people to self-isolate.
It's about being able to isolate if you get sick. If you're in an RV, that's not generally a possibility, or if someone's in a tent, it's not a possibility. Really more to do with the congregation of people in those areas and the difficulty of keeping people apart and physical distancing. That was the main concern.
Well, here's something that will hopefully make you smile. Comedian Rick Mercer is ranting about COVID-19 and practicing physical distancing while doing it.
Normally, when I'm doing a rant, I have a few rules. The first thing you need is a good cameraman and a great-looking alley, or a great-looking cameraman and a good alley. Today, I have neither. Why? Because I like my cameraman. I like him very much. One of my favorite people. I like him so much, I don't want to be within 6 feet of him. I don't want to be in the same room with him. I want him to stay at home, healthy, and go stir crazy just like the rest of us. And why am I not in my alley? Because there will be people there. And what will they be doing? They'll be doing what they're always doing, wandering around, enjoying the magnificent graffiti as if they were in an art gallery. Do you know what you don't do during a pandemic? Visit an art gallery. And I know technically not a gallery, it's an alley. Congratulations, you found yourself a loophole. People, stop looking for loopholes. Stop ducking under the police tape. Stop hanging out on narrow pathways. Stop jogging in groups. Yesterday, I saw a group of people walking down the street, passing around a joint. Seriously, passing around a joint? Legal, yes. Stupid, big time yes. Why not just French kiss each other, go home and catch your house on fire? And the neighbor's house too. Normally, it makes no sense to rant about something that almost everyone agrees with. And honestly, 95% of Canadians, they're all doing the right things. But some of us are bending the rules, and it has to stop because it is through a loophole that the virus will get in. We can do this, but only together. All of us together. Flatten the curve, plug the holes.
Ashley is here now with your weather forecast, and it was a bit gray in St. John's today, but I'm enjoying these milder temperatures.
Yeah, I know. I stepped outside a little bit earlier today to get some fresh air, and boy, does it feel nice out there with those temperatures in the single digits for most of the island. If we take a look at those temperatures across the board, 5 degrees was the afternoon high so far in St. John's. A number of areas on the Avalon actually seeing temperatures well above that, and you're seeing the mild temperatures as well as you head towards Central and even the West Coast. 9 degrees in Stephenville. Again, some areas on the West Coast are reporting temperatures in the double digits. So certainly a nice day, even up through Labrador. Happy Valley Goose Bay above zero, sitting at about 2 degrees this afternoon. So here's a look at the satellite and radar. We are still seeing those onshore clouds, unfortunately, in those areas along the northeast. Otherwise, some sunshine is peeking out, and we do have those showers continuing on the West Coast. That's pretty much the story as we head through the night tonight, especially up through the northern peninsula, where we're probably going to see some showers, even some freezing drizzle, and really anywhere along the northeast coast in that onshore flow, areas of fog, drizzle, and or freezing drizzle if that temperature drops below zero tonight. Along the west coast, though, generally sitting around 2 to as much as 4 degrees overnight tonight, and then again partly to mostly cloudy skies. Now up through Labrador, areas in the southeast, especially towards Central as well, you're going to see that transition over to rain. Anywhere north of that at this point, still looking at snow, and that will continue through the day tomorrow. So we do have those winter storm warnings in place from Makovic through to Hopedale. And then Nain, you're under blowing snow advisory with as much as 10 to 20 centimeters of snow for you. The areas in the winter storm warning, though, 20 to as much as 30 centimeters, eventually tapering to flurries as we head through the day tomorrow. And you'll see that area of that rain snow mix probably make its way towards Lab West, Lab City. You'll probably see a transition to rain for a few hours and then back over to snow as the snow moves a little bit further south. You'll see that make its way towards the northern peninsula as well as we head into the overnight Thursday into Friday morning. Otherwise, pretty much the same story across the board for the island tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures in those northeast facing areas are going to see 2, 3, 4 degrees through the day. Anywhere further away from that, you're going to see those warmer temperatures. Again, a double-digit day on the west coast, 10 degrees for Corner Brook it looks like, and then but still keeping that potential for some drizzle in the mix across the island. Now up through Labrador, temperatures will be, these will be your daytime highs, and then they'll drop through the afternoon as we see a transition back to snow through the day. So into Friday, that area of cold air will move a little bit further south. That's going to bring that snow or potential for some flurries or freezing drizzle right along with it. Areas in the southeast, or southwest rather, the best chance of seeing some sunshine, 6 degrees, but there's that drop in temperatures I was mentioning. About 2 degrees in St. John's. Again, a transition from rain rather, to snow. So just before we leave you, wanted to share this wonderful photo. Doesn't it look like a white sand beach?
Yes, if you
it's
squint,
a great shot there.
If you squint, it almost looks tropical.
It almost looks tropical, but optical illusion, obviously, that's just a pond melting. But it is a great shot. Thank you so much to Justin for sending that in. And if you have any weather photos to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Thanks, Ashley. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Well, some sad news to tell you about now. A well-known and respected advocate for the inshore fishery has died. Tom Best died yesterday at the age of 74. He had been diagnosed with cancer 5 years ago. He fished out of Petty Harbor for most of his life and was a longtime president of the Petty Harbor Fishermen's Cooperative.
Welcome back to the program. First, we start with breaking news.
Temperatures are dropping into the minus single digits.
Time now to check in with our Carolyn Stokes.
It is just packed with people.
The company says it's picking up salmon.
Looks like an absolutely gorgeous afternoon.
Welcome back to Here and Now. To recap the COVID-19 situation in the province right now, despite a drop in the number of new cases of COVID-19 here yesterday, there's another jump today. 23 new cases were announced. That brings the total in the province to 175. 15 people have been admitted to hospital. 3 of those are in intensive care. And with the numbers rising, the Premier says people must follow the rules.
As we've been saying, that this is not a time to be complacent. Yesterday was not a day to celebrate. So we went to 23 today from 4 yesterday. And this is the reason why we're taking this position.
The virus does not discriminate between young and old, rich and poor, and others who live in rural areas or urban areas. And one of the things that's distressed me somewhat is that there does appear to be discrimination out in the communities in some areas for those people who, through no fault of their own, have contracted this virus. They are human beings just like every one of us, and they need to be treated with some kindness and some consideration. There are guidelines, and for those of you who follow them, each party will be safe, both those who have the illness in its mild form and those who need to supply services so these people can self-isolate safely.
Well, the COVID-19 crisis has inspired some creative songwriting. Just have a listen to this.
I'm so tired of sitting here in my room waiting for Corona to disappear. I've got the hand sanitizer, quarantine blues.
Well, that's an original song from Rachel Golding of Campbellton. She's a grade 11 student and wrote this while staying at home now that school is closed and everything has shut down. I think a lot of people can probably relate to the quarantine blues right now.
'Cause I'm so tired of canceling my plans. I've got places to go.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us this evening. Hope you can join us again tomorrow. News from Nova Scotia is next on CBC Television.